everybody. Welcome to Gootz Disney Pod. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We are almost done with Star Wars. Right now, we're on Solo. Returning to the show is the great Kevin Gootee of Gutting the Sacred Cow. Kevin, how are you, buddy?
Gootsy, baby. It's been too goddamn long. I'm doing well. And of course, you're doing well because you've got two dogs.
I do have two dogs, yes, and a cat.
That's
and
right.
tattoos now. So
a lot of them.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. So before we get started, let's catch up with you. Kevin, the last time we were on the show was like April of 2020. What have you been up to since those historic days?
So since you made me watch that piece of shit Hercules, we've been making some great things happen at Gutting the Sacred Cow, which is my movie podcast, which was what you've been on before when you came on to do Jurassic Park, which is another excuse for me to have you back on in the near future. For those of you, I'll give the 30-second spiel. Gutting the Sacred Cow, we invite our guests to pick a film they find overrated or hate and try and convince us to see their argument. But here is the twist. The film must meet one of these criteria: widely beloved, critically acclaimed, financial success. And it's basically something that our goal is to get our listeners to look at their phone or iPad or whatever and go, what? This asshole is trying to shit on that film? Fuck them. And then they listen and try and see why this person hates such a film. In fact, this week's episode, as you tape this, Return of the Jedi by the Fans on Patrol. They're trying to take down Return of the Jedi. So how timely that you have me on your fine podcast today, sir.
Yeah, it's like we're cross promoting.
Inadvertently, but still it counts.
It's Star Wars everywhere.
Yeah.
Kevin, what is your relationship with Star Wars? Like, were you a fan of it as a kid? How are you feeling about Star Wars nowadays?
Good. So you couldn't have teamed me up to a better answer, a better question. So I was born in 1976. I'm 45. Mm-hmm. My first movie my parents took me to see was Meatballs. So who gives a shit? But I was like two when that came out. But the first movie I remember seeing in the theater is 1980 when Empire came out. They brought Star Wars back out at the Princeton Garden Theater. 2 screens. One was Star Wars, one was Empire. My dad took me to go see Star Wars. I started walking in the Empire Theater. My dad goes, no, we're going to this one. And that film grabbed me by the tiny testicles and has not still let go. One of my all-time favorite films is Star Wars. 2 scenes specifically I remember. The big trash compactor monster, that's one of the biggest moments I'll always remember. And of course, the final Death Star, X-Wing battle. I've loved Star Wars since I was almost 3 turning 4. Star Wars is my favorite, then Empire, then Jedi, then Rogue One. Then there's a little drop off. But I'll say this: Revenge of the Sith is goddamn good. Too many people sleep on it. Then I throw down episode 2, which the second half is good. The first half fucking sucks of episode 2. Then Rise of Skywalker, which is a glorious piece of shit, and episode 1, which no one likes. But where does Solo fit in? That's where we find out today.
Okay. Yes. And I have to tell you, when I thought of doing a season about Star Wars, I was like, this will be super fun. And it's been since Force Awakens. It's and not Rogue One though, but
right.
It's been kind of Chinese water torture rewatching some of these newer ones, including Solo.
I forgot 7, 8, 9. They all stink. They're
yeah. I met you. I don't know if you know this. I met you right after Force Awakens came out. We did a Matt Bridgestone show at the strip club.
Oh my God.
Yes, you drove me. I think you drove me to the train. And probably. We liked Force Awakens because we had hopes we assumed they knew what they were doing.
I did.
So we were writing better movies just talking to each other for the first time.
Right.
Like maybe Rey's dad is Ben Kenobi. Maybe Mace Windu is Snook. Maybe Kylo Ren. All this bullshit that me and you were coming up with. They did none of it.
No. And they did a lot worse job than we did.
Yes, they did a lot worse job than we did. And because when you just see Force Awakens, you're like, you ever seen The Simpsons with the turkeys flying through the air? It's still good. That was the end of Force Awakens, but it's not good. Those
does not hold up. And it gets progressively worse. The Last Jedi, there were good moments in it, but it was 2.5 hours. Rian Johnson completely shit on so much of what Abrams did. Not saying it's a bad thing, some things here or there. But the fucking the Benicio del Toro stuff,
you could have cut all that out.
Yeah, 100%. A good 30 to 45 minutes, you could have whacked that out. Leia, whatever. I didn't mind the Luke stuff in the end. That was good. kind of, but it dragged at spots. And my co-host Kevin Israel was there when I bought tickets for episode 9. I go, I don't have a good feeling about this. I go in episode 9 and with my buddy. I've seen every single Star Wars film since Phantom Menace, and I was livid in the theater with all the shit that went down. I go, nope. When she's like, oh, I'm a Palpatine. Fuck you.
Woo!
Hated that one so hard. And the horses on the top on battleships as they're flying through space. They're on horses on the wings of battleships. That doesn't happen.
The horses don't just fly away and immediately have their legs broken.
There's so much. It was so lazy bringing the Emperor back and all that shitty backstory and the lazy origin story. Chewbacca almost getting killed. Like, oh, that's ballsy. Why not? It's the last one. And then, of course, the forced same-sex kiss that has no context, pretext whatsoever. Like, wait, what? They're lesbian? Who set this up? Damn, Disney, you're trying to work it in there, aren't you?
Rise of Skywalker has a ton of problems. It get like when C-3PO was. I just want to see my friends one last time.
That hit me.
Memory. I'm like, you don't even know these people because they've ignored you for 2 fucking movies.
Yeah.
They finally realized, hey, they should probably have C-3PO with them. He's part of the fucking. Just brutal. The stuff with Leia bringing her back, CGIing her corpse was brutal. I know the daughter wanted it, but it was very fucking awkward.
Didn't like that. Didn't like also what else? Oh, let me fight Kylo Ren to the death and let me save him because it's a metaphor. Oh yeah. No. Weak.
But I have to say, so like Star Wars films, even the prequels, as bad as they were, Star Wars films were events. Like it was an event. Like
huge.
Everyone made plans to see this. Like you had plans for months or weeks in advance.
Buddy, I was at the midnight showing of every single one of them. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to re-raise you. Do you remember they were selling tickets just to see the fucking preview for Phantom Menace? I remember that very well.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
These movies were more than movies. They were like cultural touchstones. They were events. Even fucking Revenge of the Sith was a fucking event. Force Awakens was a mega event, and Last Jedi too. And this movie that we're about to talk about, Solo, is the first one that isn't. I didn't go to the midnight screening because I had a game.
I didn't either. That was the first one I did not see the midnight screening of. First one.
Mm-hmm. And then and then me and Alan Fuchs, you know Alan, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. We after our shows on Friday, we decide we're going to go see this on a Friday night. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's Friday night. It's Star Wars. This is going to be... And this is when I realized these movies are no longer special. We went
and Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend on top.
Memorial Day weekend. We go into the theater. There's 3 people there besides me and him.
What time is this?
Midnight on a Friday.
Holy shit.
This is a new Star Wars film. I mean, Friday night, if you put out a Star Wars film at any point in the mid 80s to the early 90s, Friday night at midnight, you would have to like fight your way in. And now it means nothing. And I sat there and I remember we're sitting there, I'm like, stop, these things are no longer special. They've beaten within 3 movies, and this was the 4th one with this after Disney took over. They took out Star Wars is no longer special. It's like everything else. It's like
sanitized. Yeah. And again, re-raise you're absolutely right about being an event. When episode 1 came out, the theater by my parents' house, 24 screens, they had 12 of them for the midnight showing. And it was nuts to fucking butts. You couldn't get in. It took forever to get in. I got there like 11:15 just to get there on, sitting time. 12 fucking screens all sold out weeks in advance, by the way, of course.
Yeah.
Now you're 100%.
And this was the first one. And I rewatched this movie. I have the 4K copy of it. Nothing about this movie is an ugly movie. You can say what you want about all 3 of the prequels, but there are some stunning art. There's some stunning artwork in those movies. Even Phantom Menace, like the way Naboo looks. Like the sets are beautiful. It is nice at least to look at. You can pause. There's a couple of moments in all these movies that look like paintings. Yeah,
I agree.
This is just an ugly, dark. I hate this fucking movie. What do you think before we get into it?
I have notes, as I do for.
Okay.
Oh boy. Why wasn't Solo retire when he was fighting in the ground forces after he became a member of the Galactic Empire? Not in Stormtrooper retire. Didn't understand that.
I the only thing they didn't explain it, because that's what I was thinking today too. they're like the grunts of the grunts, like they're like just the dregs they send off. I don't know. Like they don't explain it. That if they explain, hey, Solo is so bad at this, he's in the worst battalion. That would make this, but they don't even explain.
No context. No. The actor who played Han Solo, I didn't write his name down because I don't give a shit. Way too short. Too short. Harrison, listen, get somebody fucking like, what's Harrison for? Let's say 6 foot for argument. This motherfucker's probably like 5'7". It's like, dude, you're gonna get a little Italian guy to go play, I don't know, Samuel L. Jackson and whatever one you want to play. I can't think of a good one. The Thandie Newton rocking out the Foxy Brown haircut. That was a surprise. Have we seen the guy who did play Han Solo in any other films?
No, he's never done anything after this.
That's what I thought. He's a very weird, and it's happened in Rogue One, but it's very weird to watch a Star Wars film and not have a John Williams score. Although they did borrow certain, chords and whatever sections of the other ones they did. They borrowed, but very weird, very weird. And also in the first notes, bang, and then the scroll and all that, you get the fucking.
The start of the movie is just so like flat. It starts off flat and it keeps going. By the way,
they did it with Rogue One too as well. They did it with Rogue One. No preamble.
I forgot Ron Howard directed this thing.
He jumped in the middle of it, by the way. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that, but it's like, I mean, if you tell me in 1992 Ron Howard's making a Star Wars film, I'm going to be pumped. This could have been directed by anybody. What a piece of shit. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, was this David Fincher's version? The train robbery. This is supposed to be a big grand scene, and there's nothing that really jumps out about it. Nothing about it that stands
hard to
out.
Follow.
Yeah, you're like, what? Why? I'll say this: Woody Harrelson's great in this. I like Woody Harrelson's character. He's a great mentor for Han and whatever.
He is. But he does it. He feels like he's from another universe. He feels like he got pulled in from another, like Farscape or fucking Babylon 5 and got shoved into Star Wars. He doesn't feel like a Star Wars character. He's great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
He just doesn't feel like he's part of the Star Wars universe. But I will say yes, he was.
It's great too. Paul Bettany, fucking
He's
Vision.
Amazing. He's the best.
I loved him in this. 100%. I loved this. Loved it. Childish Gambino, he's okay as Calrissian. An L3. Wow, we really tried to capitalize on the droid from Rogue One. I forgot that droid's name. This motherfucker is annoying as all hell. They tried to recapture that magic, and guess what? The fairy dust died. It disappeared. Yeah. That droid. And it's just weird
that it kind of implied that Lando's fucking a robot. And they don't really go. I was like, really, Disney? We're gonna go down that road?
Star Wars doesn't do two things. It doesn't do sex and incest. It does do very well. It doesn't do sex, and they do maybe 2 jokes, which is another reason why I hated fucking episode 9. They try and made that shit a comedy, and I lost my mind. But another reason. Let's see. Oh, it's cute that Woody Harrelson stole fucking Lando Calrissian. This happened before, but Woody Harrelson took Lando Calrissian's costume from the Jedi from the Jabba the Hutt scene where he Skywalker. The Kessel Run is fun, but no one's gonna remember it. It's not like, again, we also say another thing on our podcast we do called "Remember the Scene" or "Remember When." This film has none of those. Remember when, or that moment was so fucking cool. Mm-hmm. There's nothing here where I could sit back and kick it with you and go, dude, fucking Solo. Remember when the Kessel Run? It was, as we say, fine. It's fine.
You know what the problem is with this movie is they're trying to shoehorn every Han thing in one movie. They're trying to shoehorn him meeting Chewbacca, doing the Kessel Run, getting the Millennium Falcon, meeting Lando, them having a falling out, him robbing. They're trying to put all this in, but then also introduce new characters and also reference Darth Maul and other things. And it's like, bro, just focus. All you need to do in this movie is just make it about him and Chewbacca becoming friends. Maybe make that the movie.
And that was my last point, as you just mentioned, Darth Maul. And when I first saw it, I go, oh, fuck yeah. But wait a minute. I watched it and go, wait, why? There's no tease. There's nothing leading up to it. This is just a cameo for the sake of having a cameo. And you're left with more questions in your answers. I'm like, well, why? How does he tie into Dryden? What's the whole story? Why does he give a shit? He's part of the Empire. I get it. They're going to sell shit to them. But why him? Everyone loved Darth Maul. He's the best part of episode 1 by far. Everyone goes, it'd be a good idea. Let's try and sneak him into one of these films again, just for giggles, because we really did him dirty. We should have not killed him at episode 1 and kept him around for 2, maybe even 3. This cameo felt forced. It felt trite.
The other thing, you don't understand the cameo unless you watch all of Clone Wars.
I haven't. See, there you go.
Some of Rebels. When I saw this in the theaters, I didn't watch Clone Wars yet. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. Then when you do know what he's talking about, so he's from, have you ever watched Clone Wars?
Like the first season, I just stopped for no reason. I'll get back into it though, but it's
yeah,
fine.
So I'm just give you a quick spoiler.
Sure.
His race of people is from like this hell planet. Basically looks like hell. And he tells her, meet me on the planet he calls is the hell planet, right?
Right.
That's where he wants. So I'm like, wait a minute. You already have this planet in the cartoon. Once you see the cartoon, it's this hell planet. There's like witches and stuff. It's like really cool. There's like they bring in different types of magic besides the Force. Why don't you just make the movie about Han Solo trying to escape Darth Maul on that planet? If you're going to introduce all these elements and have it in the cartoon, because all that did, you were just utterly confused because you've never seen the cartoon, and there's nothing in that movie to tell you to understand what this scene means. Go watch the fucking cartoon on Disney Plus. In
addition to, as you just mentioned, trying to do all those shoehorning of the Solo uniqueness of meeting Chewbacca, Lando, you just spelled it all out. It was just one big. David told us a great joke. It's like, listen, you don't mix two things because you like them all the time, like cotton candy, and whiskey. It's like you blew a clown. Like, no, you can't have all those separate ingredients in one pot. Yeah. Separate them. Separate a few things. The Lando, the Falcon, the Kessel Run. That's enough. That's it. Make it an hour and 45, 2 hours. Then this film exponentially increases in rating. Yeah. Because the other thing about this movie is nobody asked for this. Nobody was like, I really hope they recast Harrison Ford. I really want to know how Han Solo got them million. I want to see it. No one asked for this movie. But to be fair, though, no one asked for Rogue One, and wow, were we all fucking blown away. That was great, but that's a cool story. Yeah. There's a lot of cool Han stories, but you need to take your time telling them. Yes. You need to trust that people are going to want to see more Han films after this. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, you're right. Well, at least Rogue One, you're like, wait, what the fuck? What's the whole story? There aren't the characters that we all know and love, where it's just like Han still like, all right, I want 2 hours of this. I want 2 hours of this, that. Give me Greedo. Give me maybe a little Jabba tease or something, some shit like that. You're 100% right. Yeah, it was just so, I think because Ron Howard inherited a shitstorm. I forgot who started directing, and they walked out. Oh, Lord and Miller, who have done the Lego movies and stuff. He was the one who was directing this? Well, the two guys that it's a team. They did. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. They and again they are having a lot of problems with the tone of these because they fired the original writers of Obi-Wan because they said the scripts were too downbeat, and they fired. Didn't they have a problem with the director of Rogue One for a while? They got someone else too. I didn't catch that. It may have. I don't know. Yeah, if they had. I know there was controversy on that set, and now there's controversy on Solo. Also, the guy was supposed to remember there was supposed to be the guy who did Jurassic World was supposed to direct Rise of Skywalker, and he got thrown out. So they're having problems on all these projects. They just can't seem to figure out the tone. It's so funny how everyone wanted Lucas out after the prequels. Now you're like clamoring for him to come back. Like again, the sequels. Somewhat again, I will stand by Revenge of the Sith. Second half of Clones is good, but obviously one sucks. So we're all clamoring from the comeback now. He's now like, fuck you guys. You want to be out? You got your wish. Here we are. Ha-ha. Yeah, I think he's kind of feeling like that. I think he, I listened to an interview with actually a guy who worked with him. And I think he wanted to make experimental films and weird movies like he used to in the 70s. And I think he knew if I still own Star Wars and I'm like, hey, here's my weird movie about a mime, I guess. People are going to be like, where's Star Wars? Where's Star Wars? Where's Star Wars? But now that I heard apparently he's working on something in secret. But now he's got rid of Star Wars. If he puts out some weird little movie, no one's going to ask where's Star Wars. We're just going to go see it. It's kind of like what Nolan did when he made Inception. I'm like, stop fucking around and get the goddamn Dark Knight Rises out already. This is bullshit. Yeah, then that was a big piece of shit. So. You know what? I loved it when I saw it, and that was one of the early films we did on our podcast. And Jim Andrinos did it, and he was so right. It is wow, and that was the beginning of the end for Nolan for me. Mm-hmm. That's where it just went drop big time. Yeah, I haven't watched
I watched what was the one that came out during COVID?
Tenet.
Yeah, I watched that. What
Yuck.
do you think of
Nope. Saw in the theater.
that? Yeah,
Remember, you're like, you're so ballsy go to a theater. We're having this discussion on Facebook about, I'm like one of 4 people in a theater right when they
I
just
remember you rushed. Yes, you were the first one there,
Yeah.
and you were like, "What the fuck?" Like, imagine you got COVID that day. That would.
Well, I got it later on. It wasn't that bad. So
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you
I know.
rushed out. You're the guy that he like fights for. He's like, we got to open up theaters if you want to see my movie. And then it was just like, dude, this is the thing you want people to fucking potentially get sick over, this piece of shit.
Yeah, it wasn't. It did not do that. I tell you what. And here's the thing with Lucas, and I'm very surprised they did not do this with the sequels, with the Force Awakens shit. They already had sequels written. It's a little thing called Heir to the Empire, written by Timothy Zahn. Those books are fucking great. Yeah, I love those.
George Lucas handed them an outline for 7, 8, 9.
I heard that, but did it have the Zahn tie-in or not?
No, it was. I think the 2 main characters were these 2 unrelated people on a different planet, but their metachlorian count was high, and somehow they get in contact with Luke and Leia, and Luke and Leia train them. But that's way better than fucking it's Palpatine's kid.
Also, remember the game for Nintendo 64, which I still fucking love, Shadows of the Empire.
That would be a great movie.
In between Empire and Jedi, it's where I think Dash Rendar was his name. That's the reason that sticks out.
Dash Rendar.
And he goes through the whole
question.
Yeah.
If they said we're making Shadows of the Empire, we're bringing back the guy who played Han, and actually, I guess he could be in like a few scenes because he's in Carbonite. But we're going to recast Luke and Leia. Would you be excited, or would you be like, the ship has sailed, I don't want to see new actors as these characters?
I got to see a preview. Half of me is like, I want to go because I'm a Star Wars fucking fan like you. The other half's been like, they've done so dirty, except for Mandalorian. Yeah. That was great. And then of course Boba Fett was a steaming piece of fucking.
I didn't even watch it yet. I don't know why I'm not even excited.
Well, I'll tell you what. Start watching when the Mandalorian appears in it, because that's when it's good.
Okay, yeah, I heard like all of a sudden it becomes the Mandalorian show halfway through.
It does. It's great. And I tell you what, I love this fucking guy, and I love him to death. Timothy Olyphant, he's in a few episodes. Timothy Olyphant can read the goddamn phone book to me, and I'll still be.
Oh yeah, he was in Mandalorian as well. Okay, good. Now I'll watch it. By the way, did you watch Moon Knight yet?
No, I was waiting to talk to you about it. Is it worth a shit?
It is. It's very, very good. They once said, I remember when I was a kid, I would read interviews with comic book writers, and they were like, if Marvel does Moon Knight right, he could be bigger than Batman. And I always I don't think so. But they're actually if they stick to the quality of this first episode, I don't know if he's gonna be bigger than Batman, but he's gonna be pretty fucking big.
Really? All right.
Yeah. It's
how long was it? An hour, or a half hour?
Like 40 minutes the first episode.
All right. I'll give it a go. I didn't watch. What was the other? I didn't even what was the Loki one? Didn't bother with that.
Loki wasn't good at all.
Didn't give a shit. And WandaVision was good. Was there another one that I missed too? Oh, I watched fucking Hawkeye with what's her face? Was that Hawkeye? Yeah.
Kate, I forget the actress name, but the character's name's Kate Bishop. Yeah.
Yeah. That was boring.
Yeah, that one. And are we missing one? Loki, Hawkeye. Was there one between those? I know there was also Falcon Winter Soldier, which I didn't really like.
Yeah, it was boring. Very boring.
This one might be the best one after WandaVision. So
all right, now if you tell me it's good, I'll give it a go.
They've got to maintain this level of. Oh, what if? That wasn't bad.
Didn't see it. My nephew loves that shit. He watched all that stuff. No, I didn't see What If. They liked it.
What If wasn't bad. But yeah,
it's too oversaturated. They're oversat. Fucking Disney ruins everything. It's oversaturation. First, you're like, all right, one series is kind of cool to kind of tide us over to the next film. Now it's just like, oh my, you're awash and all these characters you don't give a shit about.
Well, that's that's every streaming service now. Paramount Plus announced they're making like 3 Ninja Turtle villain films. They're also gonna make like 2 new series, a Ninja Turtles movie, and it's like, really, do we really need a Rat King movie? Like, who do you think?
Leatherhead, bring him out.
With Sonic the Hedgehog, they're making a Knuckles show. They're making another. It's every. These services aren't about quality anymore. It's about quantity. And I remember as a kid, I would be like, "Oh, 3 Ninja Turtle movies next year," and I'm so excited. But now I'm like, you're just throwing shit against the wall. Even The Boys, there's like 3 or 4 spin-offs of The Boys. I'm like, guys, this was a 60-issue comic book. Get in, get out. Make it like Breaking Bad.
I didn't dig season 2 of The Boys. I
haven't seen that yet.
The first one was great.
Season 1, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like season 1. Yeah. You know why? Because the book was about the boys, and the heroes were in the background. Like Homelander's kind of like Jason. He shows up and then he leaves. And now I feel like the show's about Homeland.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I watched like half of season 2. I go, I don't give a shit, and turned it off.
Yeah, and there's making like everything that remotely becomes popular, they make 97 spin-offs of, and it's like, guys, less is more.
100%. And listen, take the time to fucking get a goddamn good script. Now, my rule, and this is my I should have wrote a senior thesis on this. My rule of sequels, it kind of ties in with this. First of all, you cannot have an original movie be R and then the sequel go PG-13. That's a big no-no. Secondly, you can't have a fucking sequel 10 years after the fact. But I'm also not saying, don't be like Saw, where you churn a movie out, or Nightmare on Elm Street every year. Then again, you don't need much of a plot. So, but take a few years. At least Nolan took 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it was, in between all the Batman films, and did it fucking right. Take your time. When you speed shit up, we all can see it, and then it just an immediate turn off. And that's exactly what Disney has done with all these Star Wars, property pieces. It's just, I can't believe I'm sitting here at 45 goddamn years old saying enough already. Because 20 years ago, Kevin would be like, Episode 3 just came out. How badass was that? What? You're sick of Star Wars, old Kevin. Fuck you.
Can you imagine being told like 30 years ago there's going to be a new Star Wars film every year, like starting from 2015? You'd have been like, oh, thank the gods.
Right.
And you know what the thing with Star Wars is? It's one guy's vision, really. I'm talking about George Lucas.
Well, of course.
And there's not a lot of room to tell stories. I mean, the novels did it and stuff, but like there's not a lot of places to go because it's one guy's very rigid story and vision. So when you start like, I don't know, when you start like kind of putting these different voices, it doesn't mesh. It's kind of almost like you're breaking this property because it was one guy. It was just one guy. And I think even when people wrote the novels and the comics in the 90s and the 2000s, they were like trying to write like, what would Lucas want me to do? And Lucas approved everything back then. You had a comic book where Luke shut the lightsaber from a girl's butthole. Lucas is going to come to your house and kick your ass. So
what issue is that? What issue is that? Can I order that still or no?
I wish. That'd be a great issue. Like everything was approved by Lucas. Like he knew what was going on in all the books. So it's like it's one guy's vision, and now that vision's out the fucking window.
Well, it must have been like, hey, can you approve this? I don't know. What's that check say? Oh, I see 7 zeros. Yeah, sure. Here. Read it. Fuck you. I don't need to read it.
Yeah.
But at least
does Luke murder anyone? No. All right, just put it out.
Well, at least Zahn, what he did is he took characters we all know and love and said, you're going to they're going to go to the background. And you're going to have Mara Jade. You're going to have Thrawn, and Luke and Leia's kids.
Question. Have you seen Rebels yet?
No.
Thrawn's in that.
I heard that. In fact, probably you told me that, but yeah. Is it good or no?
He's the villain. And do you remember Mandalorian where Ahsoka Tano is told, I have to go find this so-and-so?
Yes. Yeah, that was
that character disappears with Thrawn. So I think Thrawn's going to be in the Ahsoka Tano show.
And there's another one. You're like, do we need an Ahsoka Tano show? Do we really?
I know. Yeah.
Unless Rosario is Dawson's topless the entire time, then by all means.
There you go. Hey, I'm down for that. Hey,
me too.
You know what? Disney put the parental controls for a reason.
Yeah, I just changed my pin on Sunday. It's so funny you mentioned that. Yeah, you're right.
But
where do you rank that? Where do you rank Solo? I'm just curious to see how.
Bottom at the bottom, right by. I would put Rise of Skywalker slightly above it. Because for all its flaws, there's more scenes that feel like Star Wars than Solo. Like I like the character the Vision with Paul Bettany's character. I love that character, but he doesn't feel like he kind of feels like a Sopranos character that wandered in, got on a fucking spaceship.
He's a gangster. I mean, that's the tie-in. Look, I think this is worse. Sorry, this is better than Skywalker because what Skywalker did, 100%. Because Rise of Skywalker just came in and took a fantastic, fantastically cooked meal, like Thanksgiving dinner, let's say. It came in there and it started throwing all the dishes against the fucking wall and smearing mashed potatoes into the curtains and throwing carrots in the fireplace. He goes, yeah, like that? That's art. I don't know. It's not. They fucked everything up, especially the last act. Forget it. It was just garbage.
Well,
and then here's the one scene, and I make fun of this all the time. Remember the end when they blew up the third version of the Death Star, whatever the fuck they call that?
Was it like the fourth version?
Yes, the fourth, because they blew the third one.
Because they had the Star Killer base. Yeah.
The fourth. So when they blow it up, it is like a goddamn county college graduation. There's some high fives. The aforementioned fake, forced lesbian kiss that came out of nowhere. It's like, yay, cool. See you next summer. Keep in touch. At least in Jedi, their statues are well, that is in the Redux version. Statues are toppling, fireworks, people all across the fucking galaxy are celebrating, shooting shit off. This was like yeah, cool, man. Oh, that's awesome. Good job. We'll see you next year. Can I get another beer? Like, it was so fucking schlipsod. I hate it.
Yeah. Well,
Episode 1 is the worst. Then Rise of Skywalker. I'll put Solo third to worst, and I think I'd give it about a 4.
I put The Last Jedi as the worst.
I like those things of Last Jedi. I really like. I did.
You know what gets me? When I was watching Last Skywalker last week. Like, this movie has the confidence of a great movie. Like, it has the swag that like Godfather and like the original Star Wars has, but it's a piece of shit. It's like it's like a delusional movie. Your analogy about like the kitchen was destroyed. Here's the problem that Rise Skywalker faced. Last Jedi already destroyed the kitchen, and then Disney basically told Rise Skywalker, "You got to make Thanksgiving dinner, but you can't clean the kitchen." And it's like, well, how?
That's fair. No, that's true, and I think I made that point too before. But you're right. It was fucked from jump. But
yeah,
you'd think that they went so low, pun, haha, that it wouldn't be that hard for 8 to be better than 9 to be better than 8. Guess what? It wasn't. It was worse. And the ending battle scene was so anticlimactic. That's what makes concluding chapters so fucking good. Jedi is that third act is flawless with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor. Flawless. Revenge of the Sith is goddamn really up. It's fucking fantastic. I love the final act of Revenge of the Sith. This was a major fucking boner killer. The way when she went there with the Emperor's Temple and all the fucking iterations of the Emperor, that, and then the Kylo Ren bullshit. Oh, terrible.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is with the whole Star Wars saga. It's like, and even though I love Mandalorian, so I did a watch of everything before Rise of Skywalker. And what I mean by everything, all the cartoons, even Ewoks and droids, even the fucking Ewok movies, I did a watch of everything from Phantom Menace on. And from Phantom, including if you even include the cartoons, from Phantom Menace to Return of the Jedi, it's all one big story. It all kind of like meshes. And Return of the Jedi is truly the ending. It really is the ending. It kind of ties up everything.
Yep.
All the stories that have been building from the cartoons, from fucking droids, from the shitty Ewoks cartoon in the 80s, everything gets tied up in that movie. And then everything after, including Mandalorian, which I do love, just feels like a really shitty epilogue. It just feels like a book. It feels like, you got to the end of like this great book, and then there's like, why are there 500 pages of garbage? You just had an ending. Like, it just doesn't feel natural. It feels
500 pages of a book, and then holy shit, they CGI'd Mark Hamill and they made him come in and fucking attack Gus Fring and take Baby Yoda back, and we all fell for that, including me. Hook, line, and sinker, and I still loved it. God damn it!
That wasn't that when I did my whole big watch, because I was building to Rise of Skywalker. I do think there's a way that I hope Obi-Wan's good. I do too.
But and so does Hayden Christensen, because he's in obscurity since 2005.
Yeah, he looks way different. I saw a photo of him recently. I'm like, he does not look the same.
It's been 20 years almost.
I know, that's true. Yeah. That is actually the funny enough. What's his name? The little kid, Jake Lloyd, looks more like Darth Vader now.
Isn't he like fucking arrested 18 times or something like that? He's like a criminal. Am I right with that?
Yeah. His mugshot he looks like a Sith in the mugshot. He looks like a Sith warrior that got captured. But it's so funny. It's like, that's what Darth Vader would look like. Brilliant casting, George. Lucas wins again. He always wins. He's smarter than all of us.
And listen, and he's going to go tap the well again with Indy 5, and that film is going to be fucking terrible.
Oh.
I'm not going to see it. I'm definitely not paying to see it in the theater.
They waited too long. I have a feeling they're going to try to make this girl the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
It's going to fall on its face. It's too long. Speaking, before we get out of here.
Yes.
So now that the world worst kept secret that Bruce Willis was having memory loss and could barely act anymore has been revealed. I did a YouTube wormhole into some of his recent scenes and movies. Have you seen some of these scenes from his newer films?
You know, I can't tell you the most recent Bruce Willis thing.
Well, mine was Glass, which is a big piece of shit.
Terrible. Yeah, that was bad. I fucking hated that. Mm-hmm. Split wasn't that good either. I love Unbreakable. That's the best.
Unbreakable's great. That's when he still had a head, so he still had a brain.
I mean, he was in Expendables, one of those, but it was like a quick whatever. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last one. Jeff Paul, our buddy, saw the Death Wish remake and goes, "It is so fucking terrible."
I think that's when everything started happening to him.
Yeah.
But, dude, like, did you ever see Plan 9 from Outer Space when they had the stand-in for Bela Lugosi? And it was so obvious that it's his dentist, it's not Bela Lugosi.
I didn't see that one, no.
Okay, well, if you ever watch Plan 9 from Outer Space, you can he died, Bela Lugosi, halfway through. It's the worst movie ever made. And you've seen Ed Wood, right? You've seen Ed Wood?
Oh yeah, I love Ed Wood. It's very good.
Yeah, so you got to see Plan 9 because like it'll blow your, especially for Gunning the Sacred Cow. You know what? I want to do a reverse Gunning the Sacred Cow. I want to argue that Plan 9 is a great movie.
Doesn't fit our quota, buddy. Doesn't fit our flow.
I know. You're right. That is the class. Everyone talks about it. But anyway,
it's a main key. I'll get to it.
YouTube some of these Bruce Willis compilations from his newer film. It's bad. You can tell stunt doubles. He's mumbling his lines. It's gonna be it's gonna be kind of cruel because I know, but it's brutal. Some of this stuff is brutal, dude.
That's bad
Pretty
to hear.
sad.
I mean, we're a long way as the days away from Butch and Pulp Fiction, I guess. Then.
Yeah, that's not happening ever again. But it's pretty sad. But you know, I like that. But you know what though? He gave us Die Hard, so at the end of the day, he wins. And Moonlighting, everyone says that's a great show. I've never seen it.
By the way, we should have known something was up when he started making that music with his band Bruno. We should have known that something was afoot with him.
Yeah, we should have. At that point, we should have been like Bruce.
By the way, I'm going to go on a limb. Die Hard 4, not that bad. The PG-13 one, it breaks my sequel.
Oh, I hate Die Hard 4.
You know what? I'll tell you why. And I think I'm going to tip my hand before. Timothy Olyphant is a villain.
Oh, okay.
Great.
There you go.
I love him. I love him. He's great. Listen, 1 is the best. We all know that. 3 is the second best. Die Hard 2, 3 is 3 is better than 2 by far. Not
2 is like passable. So like
I don't like it.
It's so like, but 4, I never seen 5. I don't have the heart to see 5.
I watched it once. It's fucking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Disney owns these films now, so I might cover them on the podcast.
Maybe. Yeah. Die Hard. It's with his kids in that too. Like, wait, what? Yeah. I don't know. He had
Jai Courtney too. Like,
yeah. The franchise killer, as some people call him.
Fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And real quick before we get out of here, we're gonna touch on one last thing. I have decided the first Marvel movie in 10 years I'm not gonna go see in theaters. Morbius. I'm skipping. I'll catch it on Blu-ray. Your thoughts on Morbius?
I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes reviews are coming in. Not that I needed those to clarify my stance, because
not that you were thinking it's gonna be an Oscar winner.
No, please. I saw the trailer. I go, who gives a shit? It's another. This is what Marvel's doing. Is what Disney has done. Marvel's saying, hold on a second. Let's fill some time before Doctor Strange 2 comes out. And even Spider-Verse 2 as well, and Thor 4. Let's fill some time. No, we don't need to do that. We're big boys and girls. Fuck, Spider-Man No Way Home was in December. I can wait till when's Multiverse 2?
It's gonna be about a month from now. It's a month away.
5 months. I'm not waiting like fucking 8 years like I did with whatever it was, 12 years or whatever, 50, whatever it was from Jedi was 83. Oh, and Phantom Menace was 99. 16 years. I'm not waiting 16 years for a new Marvel film.
Yeah,
but I don't need Morbius, and no one cares about Morbius.
Here's 2 things. Sony has the rights to all the Spider-Man characters, so they're trying to take obscure Spider-Man characters and make movies out of them. Stop. Morbius is not a movie. He is a character for Spider-Man to battle in a movie, but he's not. He doesn't get his own movies. Like Kraven the Hunter, they're making as well. That's not a character that deserves a movie. Not every character gets a movie. Listen, Perry White. Great character. I don't want to go see a Perry White fucking movie. All right.
No, I don't want to see. I was going to sort of throw a very obscure out there. I don't know. I mean, and Carnage is going to be in the next one too. Who was in the last Venom? Excuse me. I didn't see that either. No Desire. I know you liked it. Everyone else hated it, but you liked it.
I liked it. It was so bad it was good.
Oh, so there you go. So it's not good then. Yeah, and that's what Marvel's doing. So yeah, no desire to see Morbius.
And I think Eternals I think Eternals kind of broke the spell on them because I think they had the trust. They had the trust, and then Shang-Chi and Eternals were so fucking lame.
It was very boring. There goes another. I didn't see that in the theater either. I go, I don't give a shit.
Did you probably watch it?
I did, and I said, you know what? I still don't give a shit. Didn't care.
So lame.
Aquafina is so annoying. I can't stand her. And
that whole movie was annoying.
Yeah, didn't like Shang-Chi. Didn't see Eternals. Won't see Eternals. Everyone told me don't go see Eternals. Won't see Morbius. Give me those three I mentioned, and I'm ready to roll. And give me Shazam too for DC. I'm ready.
I think that's coming out for Christmas. I think they moved.
It is Christmas.
So
yep, I'm looking forward to that.
Great. So, Kevin, before I get out of here, is there anything you want to plug? Well, obviously, you plug the podcast, but anything else you want to plug?
No, listen, all my eggs are in one basket. That's the Gutting the Sacred Cow basket. Now, Gootz, let me tell you what movies are coming out. They're going to make your fucking head spin off. Next week's episode, I said before, this week's is Jedi. Next week's coming out. Are you ready for this? You're sitting down, so I know you're ready. Our friend, I shouldn't say some asshole, our friend, David, the producer, is going to come on and try and assassinate Back to the Future.
That you got to go. Maybe you can do that for 3, not for 1 or 2.
Well, you'll see next week what happens. So next week, films upcoming are The Professional, Mission Impossible, Batman '89, Beverly Hills Cop, Speed, RoboCop, and we just did a live show with Bill and Joanne from the morning show. Then we watched in the theater and then did an episode right after of Office Space. So,
how many did you get? A lot of people to come out.
Good amount, pretty good amount. Yeah. Always room for Jello.
I mean, Office Space is a fun movie to watch.
Oh, is it? Well, let's see if you've watched it in the last 15 years and see if those jokes hold up, Gootsy. But
I haven't seen it in like years. You know what movie? No, I don't know if you already done an episode, but Napoleon Dynamite, I think, is overrated.
So funny enough, you mentioned that. Every year, Kevin Israel and I, my co-host, we call it the Gutters Chair, where you sat before. Where we sit there, we pick a film that we fucking hate once a year. Zach, oh my God, Zach and Miko came on, and with a week left in the year, stole the Napoleon Dynamite from me, and he did that film on our podcast. That film fucking blows.
That is such it was funny for a day in 2004 and never again.
I got news for you, Gootz. It wasn't funny back in 2004 when I first saw it, and I hate it. I hate it since. So,
has anyone done Donnie Darko? Because I recently rewatched that, and I was like, this is not that good.
I rewatched it not even 2 months ago. No one has done that. But here's the thing. I don't think anyone's going to give a shit about it. People used to defend it back in the day. That I will give. But no one's going to get mad now if they go after Donnie Darko. Like, it
used to be like a cult classic, and I feel like the director didn't do much, and it's kind of been forgotten about, Donnie Darko.
There's a good reason why. Because it's not good.
It's not good. It's pretentious garbage.
It's wannabe. Exactly. It's a wannabe. Critics with the mahogany or suede, whatever, elbow patches. Like, I like this. No, you didn't. You're just going to say like so you seem smart. Fuck you. It sucked.
Yeah, like I remember like thinking when I first saw like, the scene where head over heels. Well, what a brilliantly shot scene.
Oh.
And then I rewatched it. I'm like, honestly, Smallville has better shots than this. Why did I think this was so good?
Yeah. So check out guttingthesacredcow.com, Gutting the Sacred Cow on YouTube, all podcast platforms. Gootz was on a couple of years ago. He did pretty much in the beginning. He did Jurassic Park. Yeah, he did. And that would be the only Jurassic Park film he done because all of them except for actually Jurassic World's not that bad. I like that.
No, that's a piece of shit.
You didn't like it? All right. No. Well, you'll think of another film to come back on. We'll have you in the next month or two. But yeah, Gutting the Sacred Cow. Gootsy, I always love talking to you, pal. I miss you. Again, we're due for some drinks.
We're due for some drinks. Steak. Maybe me, you, Jeff Paul, Vinny, James.
Of course.
We'll live it up. Guys, next week is the finale. Rise of Skywalker with Jordan Ferber. It's gonna be a rough one. I'm already trying to rewatching that. Subscribe to the podcast, Gootz Disney Pod. Follow the podcast on Instagram, Gootz Disney Pod, and follow me, Ray Gootz, on Twitter and Instagram. Kevin, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Gootz, I always will do your podcast with a smile on my face. Thanks for having me, pal.
Thanks for doing it, and guys, we'll see you next week for the season finale, The Rise of Skywalker.